Hey YouTube, Travis here, and in this video I'm going to talk about finding and fixing air leaks on a vintage moped. This moped is my 1978 Puch Maxi with the E50 engine. So the very short version is, if you have air leaks, you're running lean and you risk seizing your engine. Also, you're not going to be able to do a reliable plug chop if you're performance tuning, and you're really not going to have a good idle, as I'll show you here in just a second. So in my experience, air leaks are more or less a common problem for vintage mopeds, especially if you've been taking things apart and putting them back together and not buying any new gaskets. Just remember that, these are 30-year-old paper gaskets and they're probably not good anymore. So here's how I know I have an air leak, and perhaps this will apply to you as well. Hey guys, I know the image is really blurry, it's the best my camera can do, but my idle is extremely high, and when I adjust the idle screw here on the side of the Bing carburetor, all that it really does, maybe you can see that up there, is it adjusts what position the thing that the throttle cable sits in. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. This really adjusts where that thing sits. You can see it moving ever so slightly there inside. So adjusting the idle screw didn't fix my idle, and the bike was also extremely loud. Anyway, I have a hunch where the air leak is, but I thought this would also be a good opportunity to make this video, maybe help somebody else out who has a similar problem. So the test for air leaks involves getting a can of carb cleaner and spraying places where two pieces of metal come together. Most of the time there's a gasket in between them. So yeah, there you go. That's the test for the air leaks. Okay, now we're back inside, and we figured out we have air leaks. What can we do to fix them? Well, if your air leak is at your head gasket, your base gasket, or your intake, a good place to start would be buying a new gasket set. This is the gasket set they sell on Treats. I believe it's for $10, and you get everything you need. Oh, this is not showing the clutch cover gasket, which has already been installed. But yeah, that's the $10 set right there. And that being said, when you get new gaskets, I find it's very, very helpful to torque them down. You go find the owner's manual, they have torque specs there listed. I feel like they're listed there for a reason, so I try and follow them. Now, I didn't get these wrenches until relatively recently, because until recently torque wrenches were really out of my budget. But I picked up the one on the left. This is the $20 wrench they sell at Harbor Freight. I believe the brand name is Pittsburgh. This one is in inch pounds, and it does things just fine for me. It's just a really basic little wrench. I believe it's 1/4 inch drive. Yep. And this will actually do most things on the moped for that inch pound wrench. The one on the right here I got as a gift. There's no way I would have been able to afford it otherwise. This is a really nice Craftsman foot-pound wrench, and I use this on things like the clutch cover nut and a few other things. I use this one on my car more often, but you don't really need to buy a foot-pound wrench as long as you have someone you can borrow it from, or if, like I said, some people don't use torque wrenches, and that's cool. Whatever works for them. But in my quest to eliminate air leaks, these have been very helpful to me. So going back to my specific case, It looks like this one's just not on there all the way, so I'm going to try and wiggle this on there some more. Maybe that got knocked a little loose when I wiped out. But if that's not doing the case, I was reading online where people will take like furnace tape, it's that metallic stuff, and they'll put that around there and then get the carburetor on there just right. And I'm only running half a gasket up here. That top gasket is such a pain when you're putting the carb back together. Mine ripped in half, so I do need to get another one of those and I should be good. Now you notice the one big place I did not talk about was my exhaust. Oh yeah, see, one of my sockets is hanging on there for the ride. I gotta manipulate this boss pipe a little bit. I can't get this one out. Anyway, that being said, I know that my installation was solid. I torqued down both nuts to a brand spanking new gasket. Here's a little exhaust gasket tip. Whenever you get a new gasket like that one, I went out and bought a can of this copper spray gasket stuff from Advance. This is the high temperature stuff, and I spray both sides of the gasket there right before I stick it up, and I found that that's helped it seal a lot better, especially with the boss pipe. In the past, I'd have to put two gaskets on top of each other, and even then it wasn't really all that solid, but when I use the spray stuff, I get good results. Also, I'm not totally sure how effective spraying carburetor cleaner up where the exhaust joins to the cylinder would be. So I read online what some people do is they wipe the area down and they'll go for a ride, and they're going to be looking for black oily seepage at the top of the pipe where it comes out from the cylinder, and then that's how they know that they likely have an air leak. And it's worth mentioning that a lot of this knowledge came from the Moped Army wiki. A lot of stuff's there if you take the time to read it, but I kind of like doing video style stuff like this where people can actually see and listen, and hopefully be able to diagnose things themselves a little bit easier. Alright YouTube, well, hope you enjoyed that video. I sure did. My neighbors love me. Anyway, until next time.